it brings to mind like something around my proposing to a CEO 10 years ago. And because of my work with different staff in this medical center, he asked for a meeting, and I brought along two of the nursing managers that I've been working with that have improved their departments. So we're in a meeting. It's a 90-minute meeting. And I brought them along so that he could hear from his own staff what they've seen and the feeling for it. And that happened. That happened in the meeting. And he came from, at first, it was it was very formal. But once we got into the understanding that can be developed around the principles, and the nursing managers shared their change in working with this understanding, he softened up and got interested. Now, here's where I could have used this then, He said, "Oh, great. Let's set up a time for us to meet. I'll have my secretary call you." And it never came to a second meeting. And what I see now is I could have done so much at the time he asked about having a second meeting, and moved it into us having another conversation together, and kind of having it be about he and I, not an assistant taking care of the business, of setting things up logistically. So I can see now that it would have been to stay in the feeling of that connection and what he was seeing and getting a good feeling for, and me being of even more service to generously offer when we could meet, how I could make that happen for him, given that he's a busy person, right?
Yeah.
I just see that being of service feeling that I lost sense of during that conversation, thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be able to get a proposal here. I'll just wait for the secretary to call me, or the administrator. And like it never happened, By the time I went back, it was cold, and so I couldn't really get that connection back. He had forgotten the feeling he got while we were in our meeting. So I just loved your example. And of course, I've learned a lot from there, but your example, again, helps to see that it's really about listening, isn't it? And the connection and being of service to someone, not to you thinking you need to get this person as a client.
Yeah. It's about people. For me, by the time we have or deliver the proposal, it's about people having that experience of us.
Yeah.
The experience of coaching, the experience of connection, the experience of us listening to them, the experience of them having insights. So, one thing I find that some coaches do is they make proposals on email because it feels less uncomfortable than talking about it. And I know I used to get in my head talking about my fees, but if we come back to the principles, that uncomfortable feeling doesn't mean don't do it. Just because it might feel uncomfortable to talk about proposals, if you haven't done that before, or you're a newer coach, or even if you're an established coach and you're maybe making a bigger proposal, it's the uncomfortable feeling isn't a reason to avoid taking that step. And actually staying in the conversation, that's actually the more deeper feeling I find, like you say, rather than talking about logistics. And sometimes I say to people, so what are we going to do in the coaching, right? Like, what's this coaching package about? And I just say, it's what we've been doing on the last few conversations.
Yeah.
But it's at the point where I know they've experienced that. right? So I'm not saying you have to do 2 or 3 conversations. I've had people sign up for really large coaching packages with me after only one conversation. And I've had people speak to me 3 or 4 times and not sign up with me. This is not a formula, but it's
Mhm.
more about getting to a place where you've got that connection, where it makes sense for you to work with the person and it makes sense for them to work with you or not. If you both get to that place, great. Then you just simply talk about what it looks like to continue. And if you don't get to that place, then the connection's not there, or it doesn't make sense to work together. That's cool too, right? That's part of the um, discovery process of speaking to people.
Yeah, now it's really about a way of connecting with people and helping them actually have just kind of an insider realization experience around what they were looking to get, kind of a transcendent experience rather than my finding what program I have will they fit. That may come later, of course, when we may work out the details, but really now my conversations are fun. They're enjoyable. They're really looking to find the feeling of connection and listening so that, again, what we talked about earlier, the intelligence you're a part of guides you and you see something to offer that you wouldn't see if you were just trying to get to a place where you can make your proposal.